On a seemingly routine day aboard USCG Kimball, anchored in Hawaii's waters in August 2020, the hardworking crew decided it was high time for some R&R. The horizon was clear, the sun shining bright, perfect for a refreshing swim call, a time-honored naval tradition. As they joyously plunged into the vast expanse of the Pacific, their carefree swim quickly took a harrowing turn, and it was all caught on camera. Suddenly, bullets pierced the tranquil waters, urgently fired from the ship, as a lurking shark made a beeline towards the unsuspecting swimmers. The footage, now viral on social media, catches a voice from the flight deck exclaiming, quote, "It's heading for the bow." The United States Coast Guard, established in 1790, is a versatile and vital force that plays a pivotal role in maintaining the security, safety, and environmental stewardship of American waters and beyond. Coast Guardsmen respond to maritime accidents, natural disasters, and other emergencies, and often find themselves in life or death situations, especially during search and rescue missions in the most challenging of conditions. The nature of their work often requires rapid response, adaptability, and operating in challenging and sometimes dangerous conditions, making their roles both essential and demanding. It makes sense why, in August 2020, the men and women aboard USCG Kimball, a Legend-class cutter, needed a break. Looking for a way to break up the Groundhog Day-like monotony after weeks at sea, with no other vessel in sight, and with perfect conditions in the Fiji waters, it was the ideal time for a swim call. In a few hours, the hardworking crew had everything planned for the swim call to a T. Safety measures included safety briefings, communication setups, and an extra crewed small boat stationed a short distance away, just in case. There was an air of excitement, of a break from the everyday activities, as more than 30 USCG Kimball crew members jumped into the water, taking an inflatable unicorn into the water with them to enjoy. As they splashed and laughed, basking in the refreshing embrace of the sea, little did they know that an uninvited guest was about to crash their party. In a shared social media post of the incident, the U.S. Coast Guard recalls, quote, "Everything was by the numbers. Everyone was having a great day. Everyone was smiling and having fun. It was perfect." And then, bridge personnel reported shark over the radio. As they looked around, in what they've since called a scene pulled right out of a Hollywood movie, the swimmers noticed a 6 to 8 foot shark surfacing near the ship's rescue door, which then began swimming toward the group only 10 yards away. Above the water, those on the flight deck had a ringside view of the unfolding drama. Everyone knew the real danger of the situation when Kimball's chief, a known lover of animals, loudly yelled, quote, "Shoot it." With his fellow crew members' safety in jeopardy, Maritime Enforcement Specialist First Class Samuel Cintrone, the vigilant Shark Watch, didn't miss a beat and quickly took aim. While some members desperately swam toward the ship's ladder, others headed straight for the stern. Another group, sensing safety in numbers, made a dash for the small boat. Through the lens of his weapon, Cintrone fired a well-aimed burst right around where the shark was swimming to protect his shipmates. All while the crew kept directing people out of the water, Maritime Enforcement Specialist Cintrone kept a clear line of sight on the shark. But following some warning shots, while the animal turned away for a few seconds, it then turned back. Still, he continued to fire into the water to keep it away from the other shipmates. Remarkably, despite the urgency and panic, crew's camaraderie shone through. In a matter of seconds, many helped their fellow shipmates back on board, ensuring everyone was accounted for. Luckily, all crew members made it safely out of the water, even the inflatable toy. The only injury was a small and ironic scrape to Operations Specialist Petty Officer 3rd Class Burke's knee, which he got while climbing aboard. The scrape was located right in the center of an open shark jaws tattoo. But not one of them, not even the most experienced ones, had ever seen something like that before. In fact, it was a U.S. Coast Guard first. According to one of the crew members interviewed, quote, "We have hundreds of years at sea between all of us, and no one has seen or heard of a shark actually showing up during a swim call. This goes to show why we prepare for any and everything." After reviewing the video footage from the incident, the USCGC said it believes the shark was either a longfin mako or pelagic thresher shark, and according to the post is, quote, "not something to mess with." It also appears that the shark was uninjured in the incident, and it was most likely curious and not looking for a meal. According to the social media post, quote, "We picked our location to try and avoid such an encounter, But it is their ocean, after all. It later joined a few smaller buddies that showed up, and they swam off together. After this dramatic interlude, the crew decided to remain on board and switch to fishing. By nightfall, humorously enough, the top movie requests were shark-related. And as the sun set, one thing was clear. This shark tale would be retold for generations. This August 2020 incident, coincidentally caught on video, in the end, was an unexpected lesson on why one should always be prepared, even for the most unlikely of encounters. Kimball is the 7th Legend-class cutter of the United States Coast Guard. A 418-foot-long, 54-foot-wide vessel with a displacement of 4,600 long tons, the Legend-class national security cutter, homeported in Honolulu, was initially commissioned in 2019. With advanced technology, the Kimball boasts a 13,000 nautical mile range for her vital role in protecting America's maritime borders and offering extensive search and rescue capabilities. Since their 2020 incident, the crew of U.S. Coast Guard cutter Kimball has moved to much chillier waters. As of 2023, she's part of Operation Frontier Sentinel, a 17th Coast Guard district operation designed to keep a watchful eye over the interests of the U.S. in the Alaskan maritime environment. The U.S. Coast Guard routinely patrols international waters under the service's statutory authorities to ensure the safety and security of the U.S. maritime industry, protect U.S. sovereign rights, and promote international rules-based order. Coast Guard presence ensures due regard for all lawful uses of the seas. The last time she was seen was in September 2023, when, in coordination with U.S. Northern Command, the Coast Guard cutter Kimball crew provided a U.S. presence during a Russian military exercise in the Bering Sea. The Kimball patrolled in the vicinity of U.S. fishing vessels, conducting their work in international waters within the U.S. exclusive economic zone during ongoing Russian military operations, which included the launch of a missile approximately 300 miles southwest of St. Lawrence Island. According to Rear Admiral Megan Dean, 17th Coast Guard District Commander, quote, "Though military operations and exercises in international waters are lawful, we will continue to ensure there are no disruptions to U.S. interests or commerce in the maritime environment around Alaska." With numerous operations in the area for nearly a year now, it's safe to say Kimball will not be swimming with sharks anytime soon.